Well, good morning, church, and I'm excited to be back continuing on in 1 John. We're finally starting chapter 3. I know chapter 2 took a couple weeks. I'm not going to have any guarantees on how long we're going to be in chapter 3, but we're going to be starting off with just the first few verses this morning. Starting in verse 1, it says, "See what great love the Father has given us, that we should be called God's children. And we are. The reason the world does not know us is that it didn't know Him. Dear friends, we are God's children now, and what we will be has not yet been revealed. We know that when He appears, we will be like Him because we will see Him as He is. And everyone who has this hope in Him purifies himself just as He is pure." Now, what's important to remember there is, first off, as we've already talked about, this letter is written to the church. It's written to other believers. And what he's saying here is we need to acknowledge the fact that because of what Jesus did on the cross, we are considered children of God, God's children. And I think that's important for us to constantly remind ourselves of. The fact that even though we've done nothing to deserve that title, that even though throughout history, and you can read the Old Testament, you can take a look around, people who claim to be Christians have done so many dumb things where God had every reason to say, forget this, and just abandon trying to even have some kind of relationship with us. I mean, when you read through the Old Testament, I think a lot of times we get so frustrated seeing the Israelites consistently mess up and just do dumb things. Like they repent, they cry out to God, and then the next chapter, they're back to doing exactly what they had done in the first place. And I know that's hard for, we get frustrated reading that because we never recognize we do the same dumb thing all the time. We constantly mess up just like the Israelites. But even though that's the case, God Himself came to earth in the form of a man, showed us what it looks like to live out the law completely. And even though He was the one person who never sinned, He's the one who died on that cross, dying in our place so that our debt could be paid. And that's how we're able to be called God's children. That's such an important thing for us as believers to focus on. And as we talked about a couple weeks ago, the idea of loving our church family, looking at other people in our church family and recognizing they are also God's children. When we're thinking about how frustrating they are, we're frustrated with one of God's children. That we need to remind ourselves when we're getting frustrated over small things, God cares about that person enough that He calls them His child. We need to try and look at them the way He does. And just the idea of the fact that there will come a day where sin isn't an issue for us anymore. That's mind-blowing. I can't even picture exactly how incredible that's going to be. I mean, because we're just surrounded by sin all around us the way it is. And my goodness, as crazy as things are, I think it just opens our eyes to that even more. And yet, knowing how crazy it is now, there will come a day where sin will officially be just wiped out and it won't be a struggle anymore. That we might see Jesus Christ truly as perfect as He deserves to be seen, because He is that way. But we'll get an even clearer picture of what that is. It's something to look forward to. And so I look forward to continuing on in chapter 3 tomorrow.